Hi everyone, my name is Ampumuza. I'm an author. In my previous videos, you must have seen I was talking about my 2 books, and a number of people have reached out to me asking me, how do I write my book? How did you learn how to write? And I told them I'm going to produce my next video on how to write a book. And here I am today. The first tip on how to write a book. Why do you want to write a book? What's that one idea you want to spread like wildfire into the world? What's that very idea? Think about it. Think about why you want to write a book, and you have done the first step. Step number 2 is the planning process. The planning process is not about thinking about how am I going to get the money to publish the book. I'm not good at English, literature. How am I going to edit the book? That's not the time for planning. The planning process is you only need to have a notebook, a pen, or you are in front of your computer. Write down the steps that are going to guide you on how to write your book. And under the planning process, the first thing you need to think about is now that you know the idea, now that you know why you want to write a book, the first point is get a rough title of the book you want to write. Why I call it a rough title is that you're going to change the title very many times before you come up with the final title. So it's okay to get a rough title. The second thing under the planning process, outline the topics or themes that cover your main idea. Not write them down. For instance, if you're going to talk about relationships, say I'm going to talk about dating, I'm going to talk about ABC, then list them down. Make sure those are the topics that cover your entire idea, and those are going to be the tentative chapters for your book. The third thing you're going to do after outlining the topics is dedicate time for research and time to write on a daily basis. You must do research because people are going to read your book, so you must write it from a research-based point of view, and then dedicate time. For instance, how many times am I going to be writing a week? Maybe 3 times. I'll be dedicating an hour per week to write on my book. Then after you've done that, the next step is have a rough idea of how big you want your book to be. If you want a very big book, if you want a small book, it depends on what you're writing about and the content you have and the timeline you have. So have that rough idea in your mind. So that will help you. For instance, if you're on a computer, if you've dedicated an hour per day and you want your book out in 1 year or in 6 months, then you know how much you should be writing, how much time you're supposed to dedicate to that. Then the next step is actualize your plan. And the only way to actualize that plan is to start. One of the biggest diseases that writers face is procrastination. Make sure you start. And by starting, I mean put your fingers to keyboard or pen to paper. Start off, start off, start off. The last point is do a self-audit. You made a plan, you said, I'm going to write about this, I'm going to take this time, I'm going to do this. Do an audit. Have I done it? If no, why? And in all this, you should remember that your physical and mental presence are very, very paramount. You should be in a place with serene, with good ambience, and be able to think through your ideas. I prefer writing using a pen on paper, and then I type later. Some of you may prefer typing in front of your computers, so it depends on what you're used to. After you've done that, you are good to go.